Yay, we are live. Okay, this is Mobeen stream. I just want to see, can you hear anything? Can you hear gameplay? What? Alright, we're about to see Mobeen stream. He's getting ready. Perfect to see. Alright, ready?
But can you just be here? Like how to play?
You are about to see the most incredible doll ever invented. Her name is Poppy, and she is the first truly intelligent doll in the world. A little girl can talk to her. Poppy gives her answers. She is the first doll actually able to have a conversation with a child. Hard to believe? Just watch.
It's not really that.
Poppy Playtime! Poppy's as lovable as a real girl, and she talks like one, too.
Hi, my name is Poppy. I love you. Can you help me polish my shoes?
Why, of course, Poppy. Just like a real girl, Poppy always wants to look her best.
Perfect. Thank you.
Her hair is sturdy and won't come out when you brush it, and smells just like a poppy flower. Is there anything else you'd like to say, Poppy?
I'm a real girl, just like you.
How? From
What's
mine?
the time?
Playtime!
And if you've ever wanted to see how all of the nation's favorite toys were created, Playtime Co. is now offering factory tours at just $2.99 a person. An entire hour in the most magical toy factory on Earth. What are you waiting for? Come visit the factory. We can't...
You're so good. I'm gonna take that tower. Here's the same people. As soon as the VHS tape finishes.
As soon as it ends, everyone thinks the sound disappeared 10 years ago. We're still here to find the flower. Your goal in this game is to find the flower.
It's right there. The flower's right there.
Vintage Poppy commercial. Don't worry about the tape. Eat healthy, like brown.
By myself. You always tell me where to go. Do I go straight? Did I get it? Is it scary? Okay, so blue. Right. Okay. Black. What is that? What? Alright, green, pink, yellow. Green, pink, yellow. Green, pink, yellow. Green, pink, yellow. Green, pink, what? Can I get my hand? Where do I go? Give me. I don't like it. Can I just play on controller? Is there play on? Where's the red one? Hello? Why is the sensitivity so high? Can I make it lower? Am I going the right way? I think I go this way. Is there couches? Come back, man. The heck? Where's the thing? I'm gonna wait for Matthew to die. Oh, I see it. But I'm gonna wait. 'Cause I don't wanna die.
Hi, my name is Leif Pierre, and I'm the head of innovation.
Where do I go? I think I go out. No, that's also where I came. What? Okay, I got the VHS tape and I skipped it. Do I go over there? Scared me. I don't want to do this. You do it. You just do this part. stay.
You gotta go somewhere, right?
Yeah.
You gotta go to a room that's on this side. So you gotta get past this wall. How can you?
Is it going to be scary? Where's the tape? Where's the tape? I am? I don't know. I don't want to do it. Fine, I will. I got a second hit. Yay. What door? Release the door. Like it. Can you do the crouch? Just come on the side. I know, but come on the side.
You don't need to crouch, no. Just walk forward.
Okay, can you do sprint too? Yeah, because I asked them for help. Alright, chat. No one's in the chat. Ah. Yeah, just turn it on. Alright, I'm watching. This is so difficult. Oh yeah, I didn't see it. Oh yeah, you did it for me, so I don't care anymore. Wait, is this the hard part? Wait, so Huggy can come. So you're doing this part for me. Because it wasn't scary. All I saw was a big blue yellow thing. It is? Wait, you're doing it. Five for the toes. Look at this guy's name. It's TTV Rabid Gravy Rapper. I don't Okay, so should I just do backwards fast?
No, he's not gonna attack you. Go forward.
Scaly. When is he gonna come? I can't do it. You're gonna be here for hours if you want me to do it.
I'll run through it one time, okay? And then I'll die.
No.
Just so you can see what to do.
How about you run through the door and then as soon as you do it, I go like. Well, you have to. Well, then you're pressing crouch for me, okay? Then
It's a simple
it's hard. Where do I go? First try. I did it first try. First. Yeah, that doesn't count. This game sucks. I got kind of scared. Can I like, instead of just crouching, can I slide? Why is it not like Apex? What's that sound? I'm not trying to sleep here, bro. I thought I was at the flower. Aren't I in the flower? I am in the flower. That flower? Where do I go? Hello? I can't see. Yeah. Alright, is game over?
You opened my case.
Yeah.
No, go to
You want to
2.
go from this level scary to really scary?
No, go to 2. Go to 2.
2 isn't scary at all.
Just do 2.
What part do you want to do in 2?
The jumpy jump.
There's
Just
no
let me.
replay encounter, so you won't be able to.
Huh?
There's no replay encounter.
What does that mean?
That means you can't choose what specific areas you want to play.
Oh.
So, now what?
Do deep sleep.
But which part in Deep Sleep? You want to do Mr. Light, the part that took me a while?
What does that mean?
Mr. Light, the little creature that only moves when you look at it.
No, I don't want to do that.
You want to do the Yarnaby part?
Wait, only when I look at her she moves?
You want to look at Yarnaby?
No. I don't want to do it.
You don't want to do anything?
No. I want to do Arc.
Let me speedrun the Yarnaby part, because I want to do every time I want to play the Yarnaby part a little bit until I get good at it. Because eventually, I will want to do the entire franchise. What's it called? Hardcore Deathless, like the entire franchise. And the hardest part is going to be. Look at this, bro. I beat the game in 2 hours. Get out of no man's land. Alright. Did you guys like that Mobeen? Yeah. Did you guys like Mobeen gameplay? Yeah. You should watch. Look at bro. Look at bro. Hopefully not. Look at here. Hi, how you doing? What's up? Come at me. Bye. See you later, Alex. Here, I'm gonna turn the brightness down because holy moly, it's burning my eyes. It's pretty good. Monstrosity. Alright, but I am opening that. Great, go, Billy Mo. Bruh. Dude, I just walked into the room and bro was right there. Hi. Okay, need to go in that red room, get the lever, open the lever.
I want to see the new animation they added. Probably should have turned around there. I'm a little slow. Alright, locked in this time. I didn't even see that death animation. Stupid cat. You good, bro? You'll be fine. Thank you. Oh, this is the doughy part, right? Go.
Oh, it's you!
Yup.
Is the doctor...
I don't know.
No, don't suppose he is then?
Whoa.
I've been here gathering parts for the generator. Lots
Alright, don't care. See you later. Why my hand like that?
made it impossible for me to get around here. Traps like this are everywhere!
See you later, sucker.
Ah, and here you are,
Thanks.
just as I expected.
The boss fight sucked.
It appears you are every bit what the prototype is. And to think Playtime had someone of such rare quality and never noticed. Funny.
Yup, very funny.
I can't say I remember seeing your face before,
Shut up.
but I'm curious. Why come back? It can't be that a vague letter was your only reason. Was there someone you loved here?
Ice bath.
Someone you lost? Was it the pain of not knowing for sure that brought you here?
Got it. Okay, now. Alright, for chapter 3, it was just look up. For chapter 4, it's go through the house. Oh yeah, we're also gonna see the new eye animations for the doctor. He reaches the doctor's domain. I like that.
experiments killed everyone, including whoever you came back for. You know that by now, yes? Poppy sold you her story, of course. Innocence is bliss. And she is so innocent. Did she tell you her part of the hour of joy? That she knew it was coming? Or did she leave out that crucial detail? Yes, that wouldn't surprise me. Has she not strung you along, betrayed you, and told you only what you needed to know to do exactly as she asked?
Guess what? Imagine having
You realize the futility of this, don't you? Meat rots and loses its function. It's as replaceable as anything else.
Yeah. Stole my hand.
The experiments killed everyone, including whoever you know that right? You realize the futility of this, don't you? Meat rots and loses its function. It's as replaceable as anything.
just like this puzzle. I'm gonna say that. I did it one time. I remember the code. It's really easy. Bye, Chewie. Get back here! Bro, stop. But... Look, it's pulling me in. Let me touch it. Oh, yeah. That's the boss fight area. I just realized that. Whee! So there, alligator. Oh. There's a skip you can do, and I want to do it.
Just like them, a blind, scurrying little rat. You think poor Yarnaby was my only pet? You know far less than you believe. Please see that he doesn't eat all of you. I'd like there to be something I can still use.
What? That's got it.
Do you believe you're taking the moral high road? Is that what you believe? Dear friend, let
That's
me
so-
illuminate for you an obvious truth. Survival necessitates choices. Difficult choices. This one is yours. If you want to leave this room, it'll come at a cost. It's this little life or yours. You know what you have to do. Just the slightest pull, and you snuff whatever minuscule bit of light still flickers behind those faraway eyes. That brutish glob of clay would do it. Poppy would do it. It's your mission. The door will open. Or is maintaining the veil of your morality more important? Act quickly. So, you do understand. Good, good.
I could
Come now. Let's see which of us beasts of burden Destiny favors.
Bye, guys. See you later. Going on a trip, and a paper, I can feel. Flash is ready. Boom. I'm gonna defeat the doctor, and then that's it. Once I've killed him, I will play something else. I will do my
Do you hear it? Like I do.
Nope.
Off somewhere. Somewhere. Far.
You know what else is
Beyond this place. Beyond any place.
Go faster, please.
A battle. For whom does it toll, you think?
I think you're schizophrenic.
A wounded little pup lifts his head beneath the shadow of the master's raised foot. For whom does that bell now toll?
Shut my eyes. Bye.
Not even the ground beneath your feet.
They made it faster. First time I died, I understood what I was supposed to do. All of
Strange.
They made it a little harder. What just happened? Normally you're able to just sprint past them. This is wild. I'd like to try and pick this up.
Various machines are nothing to me. The childish fantasy. Broken man. They won't settle. Nothing can.
Right. Back here.
Bury myself so far down that no one can ever find me. That's me. Prototype.
What the fuck? Huh? That has to be messed up. That's not normal. I'll do it one more time because I don't want to do this for the sake of time. I just want to see the animation. But I have seen it before. Ooh, I just want to see it in person.
Various machines are nothing to me.
Oh.
The childish fantasy of a naive, broken man.
Oh.
They won't settle here. Nothing can. So far down that no one will ever find me. Not you. Prototype. Strange. I'd expected more.
What? They're not supposed to follow me. You told me to shut up.
Various machines are nothing to me. The childish fantasy of a naive, broken man. They won't settle. Nothing can. Don't bury myself so far down that no one will find me. That's right. Not the prototype, not anyone.
No. I think we call it there. It's been a fun little stream, but I don't want to spend all my time.
Elliot's machines are nothing to me.
They updated this to be very difficult. Hopefully change it back, because that is like way too difficult. Like that's unnecessarily difficult. Huh. Uh, that's weird. What patch did they make him faster? Whatever. Alright, let's update our. It's only a 4 GB thing. Yay. Let's see the achievements. What's the next achievement I should get? According to this, the next one I should get is lowest depth. Okay, so maybe this one. I go for this one. Find a little 150 perfect attainment and then just boost level. Okay, so what I think we should. Let me tell you something. I lost my account, right? Like everything, like it all exploded. Everything just, bro. That's crazy. So that happened, right? And so I have to spawn everything back in. So if you see me spawned some tamed water creatures, I haven't spawned them in yet. If I do in this episode, I will, yeah. But let's finish. Let's just, let's watch some, Alright, do you see any work trailer? That's despicable. Let's watch this.
Only Rex. Do T-Rex next. You should do Raptor or T-Rex. Every next video like this, can you do every dino is Rex? Next time every dino is Rex. Rex.
Reaction.
Fine, I'll do Rex only. But before that, I gotta ask my buddy Ghoul for permission. Let's go! So as you probably guessed, today I decided to replace every dino with Rex, a very recognizable dino both in real life and in NAC. Anyways, the word for today is to be the Overseer Alpha, and with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy what is probably going to be my first ever 1-hour video. Boy. Let's go. Shut up. Off to a great start as always. The beginning of such challenges went as you might expect. However, despite me knowing I was going to die a lot, that didn't stop me from trying to have some fun. Is it? No. Is it? Easy. Oh, I'm dead. GG. Let's go. Don't overturn. So plan is don't overturn over here. Go bam. Then probably go die over here. And then go here and place here if possible, and then we can play it. So like, so what I don't understand I was talking about earlier. Okay. Also, if I sound funny, that's because I was a little bit sick while recording this video. So yeah, just wanted to let you know. Hello, sir. GG.
Everything.
Now I have a plan for how I want to continue. Oh, hello, extra note, thank you. No, okay, okay, after getting a lot of levels from that extra note run, it was time to actually try and get some resources such as flint, stone, and pretty much everything you'd ever need for the game. Except hide. Because you see, due to the Rex's abundance, it was pretty damn hard to actually kill one. And no, I'm not done this time because I'm not, I was getting some stuff. I want to continue my plan from earlier and make my way to the local mountain for metal, crystal, and maybe build a base. Once I arrived there, however, things were looking grim, to say the least. So I tried running away and ran into this.
Hello. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Now, the reason why I was kind of happy to see these Alpha Rexes was because you know how they drop resources during regular gameplay, right? And you also know how I love to use the RA station? Yeah. But what I thought would be awesome for this video would be that what if I gave the Rexes unique drop pools so that this would make farming in the late game both more entertaining and also make the review harder and just lead to a more engaging video. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below because for now, I gotta find a way to actually survive. A base spot I haven't touched in ages was the lava cave. This little cave on the shores of the island was perfect for this challenge as it had a narrow entrance that Rexes couldn't get past and it was very easy to get to. And with this information in mind, I got to work. The place where Rexes couldn't spawn was incredibly vast, which granted me just enough safety and space to expand, but in order to do that, I actually had to get some resources. And not die, of course. Another advantage of the lava cave was that I could retreat into it at any point and easily kill any Rexes and my front porch for easy hide. Using manually acquired hides, I crafted the mortar and pestle as well as a refining forge. The cave also allowed me to get some crystals, which I quickly turned to the mandatory spyglass. Now, with things going somewhat decent, it was time to shift my focus into becoming a Rex of my own. For that, I was going to need a lot of narcotics. Thankfully, while farming, I was also getting steamberries, by far the most useful resource in this whole challenge. Then I got some flint, some thatch, and tried cleaning my front porch yet again.
I actually cleaned this guy. Well, let me tell you what I wanted to tell you. A little bit earlier. What the f*** speak, man? Whatever. After dying, I decided it would be better to craft fish, meaty, and farm the resources from inside the cave. Once that was done, the meat I got earlier finally spoiled, so I could craft my first batch of trank arrows. While those were crafting, I wanted to try and find low level alpha that I could kill in hopes of getting a good crossbow or long neck to speed up the trank process. As I was about to say. The game was really approving my idea though, so defeated, I returned home and made a crossbow. With it, I tried checking the inside of the lava cave, and to my surprise, there was a 145 female waiting inside. Problem, it has 11 melee, which is absurdly low and very hard to come back from even after thinking it. So I said, fuck that, and continued from berries. In order to tank high level Rex, I was going to need about 100 arrows, so I was definitely getting there, but in the meantime, I wanted to grab some gates and get a full flag set. Ouch. No. Level 10.
Unfortunately, as I was cleaning my front yard, this Alpha Rex literally popped out of nowhere. He was very low level though, but that doesn't mean that he couldn't kill me.
But this is good, this is good. If I did this guy, I could get crazy fucking loot.
For worrying about him though, I needed more hide and I needed it fast, so I was killing those Rexes from earlier. And now it's time for the second gimmick of this challenge. Regular Rexes can drop all tributes. This is because I usually give myself the tributes before going to a boss. This will hopefully solve the problem and like the other change, make the video more entertaining. Again, let me know in the comments. Since I was preparing for work, I returned home to make a bunch of arrows which I was about to use in just a moment. I also now had enough hide and metal for the rest of the flag set, so things were definitely going fantastic so far. And because of that, I decided to take a break and head over to the gym, where I had an absolute wicked chest day. Now, if you're the sports yourself, you might know how important nutrition is for you, as it provides you with a bunch of protein, carbohydrates, and so many more, all essential for a healthy body. So the downside to such meals would be that cooking them every day does get very repetitive, which is where the sponsor for this video, Factor, comes into play. Factor allows you to order fresh, chef-crafted, and ready-to-eat food right at your doorstep. The best part is that their menu is completely customizable by you. So if you want to actually pursue your weightlifting goals with high-protein meals, or maybe you just want to take some time away from meat and enjoy some vegan alternatives, Factor is literally bound to have something for everyone. And for that, Factor also delivers a plethora of juices, breakfast, snacks, and so many more. But if you're still convinced about trying Factor for yourself by scanning this QR code or using the link in the description, you can buy your first Factor box for 50% off. Yes, 50. As well as 10% off your next 4 boxes, which makes Factor literally free to try out. Also, each purchase directly supports my channel, which in turn encourages me to continue attempting all the crazy challenges I do in Ark. So yeah, again, thank you so much to Factor for sponsoring this video. It's my favorite sponsor. Make sure to check them out. And with that being said, we have an over 6 defeat. While dealing with the Rex, I noticed that the Alpha returned, so I decided to initiate plan, use 8.
Oh, never mind, I'm not tapping him up.
Yeah, okay. So since that was a total disaster, how about returning the cave to tame that 145 and take a gamble? I mean, something has to be better than nothing, right? Yeah, well, the Rex is, not there anymore.
110, 15 points. Female, not bad, I can tame this one.
Thankfully though, it didn't take me too long to actually find another Rex, so I quickly trapped it up.
I don't care, I'm dead. In trap, I don't care.
Once I hastily took my revenge and got to ranking what is probably my best and only shot at hitting Rex at this stage.
Oh, I gotta be fucking kidding me, man. There's another one coming, oh my god, you gotta be kidding me. Fucking asshole, dude. Oh my god, man!
As I got to rebuilding my crossbow, I returned home to repair it, and was going back to the Rex. It kinda just escaped the trap.
Oh, he's almost out.
On the bright side, its torpor did skyrocket, so I could definitely rank him, and...
How? No!
Certified crash out.
Yes, okay, wait, I don't even care if I die here. Actually, I don't care if I die here.
With Rex knocked out, all I had to do now was survive and stick around until he tamed. Something definitely way easier said than done, as Rexes have a huge aggro range. Back home, I was realized that I literally have 0 meat.
We're fucked. We're so fucked.
Since Rexes do love to sit together, either in a pack or with a significant other, killing them becomes incredibly time-consuming, especially in my current position. Either way, after actually managing to kill a Rex, harvesting him and almost dying, and repairing my flag, it was time to return to the trained Rex and hopefully not return home empty-handed.
No.
With each death, my time was running shorter and shorter, and eventually, after I got my stuff back, the Rex tamed, but this happened.
No, dude.
After a tremendous disappointment, it was time to pull out the big guns. It was time to finally kill an Alpha Rex, so I crafted a bunch of crossbows, even more arrows, and a raft. You can probably see where I'm going with this. My plan to defeat the mighty beast was to take him far, far away to the ocean so that he was alone and shoot him until he died. But I've seen the damage I was dealing, which, well, I thought it would be faster to just drown him. Except Alphas can drown. Well, I guess I'm shooting him until he dies.
Oh, by the way, fun fact. I actually went diving today, and in 3 days, I have to take the test and see if I get my license. So I'll let you guys if I get it. Hope I got it.
Since it took 10 years to deal 200 damage to him, I thought it would be smarter to try and use the strat I used in my Dodo Rex video. Go underwater, shoot him, and then when I'm out of oxygen, return to the raft. The Rex, however, was very buggy actually when I tried this and just completely stopped doing anything. Because of that, I decided to abuse him and shoot him as much as I could before his brain reactivated. 3, 2, and the last one. Please, I close my eyes. Is it good? You guys tell me. I'm gonna look at 3, 2. Well, I'm definitely another one that was way fucking time consuming. The Rex drop was decent, sadly. It doesn't have me at all my current position, but the meat could be cooked and eaten, so at least I was set on that for a pretty long while. Using my raft, I set sail over to the Herbivore Island, the Rex Island, I guess. The reason I was here was that so I could hopefully find the Rex to tank, as there is physically no other way for me to progress unless I actually get one. What am I supposed to do in this scenario? Just fucking wondering, dude. How the fuck do I do this, man? As long as I was on the beautiful island, I ran into this absolute beast of a tech Rex. Female, unfortunately, but for a first team, he took like absolute havoc. Before attacking that huge Rex to claim that female, I noticed a decent Rex lost right in front of my base. So I tapped him up and quickly tanked him before anyone started asking me any questions such as who the fuck are you and where the fuck did you go? They didn't discover me, but by the time they did, the Rex was almost out. What the fuck is this game, dude? How many more, bro? How many more, dude? How many more, dude? There was one, now there's 10. After knocking him out, I immediately returned to the comfort of my base and did absolutely nothing until he tamed. Except after Cell, of course. After he tamed, I almost ended up in the same situation as before, but thankfully I managed to crap out him. And with that, I had my first Rex. Not for long, as he was going to get replaced very quickly with a significantly better Rex, but for now, it'll do. The damage he was dealing was pretty laughable, but if running white solo compared to the usual damage my dinos do, that's because I turned off single player settings for this challenge, which will make things very difficult, especially the alpha bosses coming out. Despite all this, the damage was good enough to take out the nearby Rexes so I could hang them into action. Now I did lose a Rex, which was unfortunate, but his death shall not be in vain. With the Rex strat, I could rest somewhat easy, and I said somewhat because I still need more resources, such as more arrows and ranks. You know what I should do? I should really make a f***ing bed, so I stop spawning 1 kilometer away every time I die, you know? As long as I try leading the nearby Rexes to a gate so they had something to munch on and will leave me alone while I'm packing my boat. No way.
Yeah, boy.
After knocking the Rex out, I assumed I attempted taking the Rexes far away from him, and afterwards all I did was wait. The hype was real, and the progress I was about to make was gonna be absolutely fucking crazy, dude. 44, 43, holy. 44, 43, holy fuck, he has.
What's his health? W, no health. He doesn't have health.
10k base.
Oh, 40.
HP, dude, what the fuck? Holy shit. Okay, yeah, okay. Did you, let's say damage? 43 HP and 44 melee is.
My boss Rexes, I got 48 damage.
Feeling confident with my new Rex, I wasted absolutely no time and got to cracking some alpha pinatas, making sure to abuse the water glitch I found out a few hours ago. Big profit, as somebody would say. The loot this Rex dropped was pretty decent, especially the free sniper bullets which will allow me to go aggro Rexes from afar. After that, I gave the Rex a befitting name and instantly returned to searching for more alpha Rexes. I didn't manage to save the Rex though, but after that I had to spend some precious time filling up my Rex. I mean, wait, this is a very important step, right? Like, losing this Rex will set me back little hours, and finding a new one with these stats is gonna be crazy hard. So, I got bored after like 3.5 HP and immediately got fighting more Rexes, and trying to look for another one.
Alright, let's see his stats. 18 there, 12 there. Not bad. I mean, if it goes, like, it's not gonna beat the female. But it could be like,
What the fuck? What the fuck? Nah, dude. Easy. With another Rex down, I wanted to make a fabricator. Wanted. How the fuck I get cementing paste, bro? The problem with cementing paste is that I can't get any of it. Or can I? You see, minions are affected by the every dino is script, so what I could do is I could put another Saraneos and use their fighting for cementing paste. This is a late game strategy, but it's my best and only shot at getting cementing paste. Before that, however, we need to actually get the big army going. The stats of the melee weren't that bad. I mean, sure, the melee is atrocious, but the HP is somewhat decent. In my scenario though, all I can... sure, the melee is atrocious.
Atrocious? Oh, look at the health. It's 43, but look at that.
But the HP is somewhat decent. In my scenario though, all I can do is hope.
Oh, that's the female.
20 minutes! Ay. Yep, the egg took 20 minutes to hatch as single player settings were off. I do fix this later in the video and turn it out like 5 minutes, and the reason for that is that I'm just a chill guy who actually values his time, and I don't see a point in waiting for things to happen in single player world, so yeah. But for now, while waiting for those minutes, I got busy getting some alphas around the beaches. Pretty fucking long game. This night fell, I actually remembered that I was on a timer, so I immediately returned home to witness the birth of my son, like a responsible father would. The HP wasn't that good, but the melee was definitely going to come in handy with killing many Rexes. While waiting, I set out again to kill more alphas, but this time I got some very good
Okay, so guarantee melee stats.
stuff. Right shield. Okay, nice. Hey, what do we get? Please, something, man. Yes, dude! Oh. These shocking time tasks coupled with the weak excuse of long neck I had could most definitely come in handy with getting more females.
Alright, her stats. 24. That's good.
about
2035 is pretty bad, but another female is always good to have. Back home, I immediately bred the two up and noticed the incredibly slow rates I was having, so I went to investigate. And confirming my suspicion, yes, I wasn't actually using single player settings. And since I was so used to using them, I turned them back on and loaded back in, only to actually realize how broken they are. So, like a normal human being, I actually turned them on and continued this challenge without them, because if I started without them, I'd better finish the fucking challenge without them. And just for the record, my Rex could deal like 1k damage without imprint or mate boost, which was absolutely crazy. Once loaded back in without the single player settings, the game gave me 19 levels that I couldn't actually get rid of. Now, I did feel bad at this point, but since I didn't have a backup, I decided to just use them and keep going. Only to realize that the game put me over the level cap by 4 levels. These 4 levels won't actually change the outcome of this run and influence it in any way, so just keep watching and enjoy the show.
Decent. Ah, female. Nice, 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 nice.
In the meantime, I went over to kill more alphas. The main thing that I was looking for was a good shotgun, as will literally act as a pocket Rex and will allow me to defend myself very, very easily.
Please, shotgun, 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 shotgun. Fuck. Rush collect saddle. Good, good. That's actually very good.
Good.
After returning home, I was greeted by a pretty sad sight. My Rex disappeared, and if you're wondering where, he went to the Shadow Realm, because my dumbass forgot to feed him. Well, that is all from our mistakes, and this definitely won't happen again later, right? Metal arrow, combo, shotgun, please, 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 man, please. Okay, fine, I'll just take the long neck. I'll take this. No, I'll take this, I'll take this. We take it, we win this, we win this. 1, 2, and the shotgun. Ooh, ascended long neck. While farming more alphas, I got very cocky and started feeling like I was the boss. And I fighting many Rexes at once, which obviously resulted in, well, someone dying. And after losing my Rex, I decided that it would be way smarter to just use the broken long neck I got and drag more females to build that army a little bit quicker. Fighting many Rexes at once, which obviously resulted in, well, someone dying. And after losing my Rex, I decided that it would be way smarter to just use the broken long neck I got and drag more females to build that army a little bit quicker.
Remember, if you die with that broken long neck, that's 26 more minutes.
Base. So I squared up and packed it up with 2 long neck shots, and rest assured its remains did not go to waste. And I also crafted a bunch of foundations and stored them in a storage box for later use. And meanwhile, my doe was working overtime by auto-swinging the rocks in its range, and all I had to do was continuously loot the sand and stone in its inventory. And by now, both of my mortar pestles were filled with sand and sap to make loads of clay. And what's the clay for, you may ask? Adobe structures, which provide insulation against the heat. Meaning right outside to be Sydney Sweeney in the bikini, a swarm of humanoid puppies rubbing up against my tongue, and the 1080 Ti loading up Arc Descendant. But inside it's cold and rainy, so it's kinda lit. Anyway, one of the Adobe structures I ended up crafting was an Adobe behemoth cellar door, which is bigger than my base. But I didn't need it, so I demolished it and kept a large cellar door instead. And the next thing I made were the Adobe walls and doors for my future base. And when I was ready to move, I thought a storm was about to hit, so I sat tight waiting to see which type it would be. But after waiting so long, I figured that there actually wouldn't be one, so I began my trip to the promised land of the green obelisk. And in the name of decisiveness and certainty, I quickly picked a flat area to begin placing the foundations of my future in a fine piece of real estate between the anvil and the green obelisk. And if you don't know what the anvil is, it's basically this giant rock that looks like an anvil, and it's pictured right here. Anyway, while placing the foundations, I also had to clear out a bunch of branch, looks like an anvil, and it's pictured right here. Anyway, while placing the foundations, I also had to clear out a bunch of branch and brush. And the last, the platform has been finished. I followed it up with 2 walls and a gate, and then replaced the walls with windows, followed up by like 10 more windows and enough walls to cover the entire layout. And then it was time to place a roof. I mean, half of it was just a cellar door that would allow big tames to actually go inside the base. And then I finally placed the doors and windows to fill the gaps. By day 17, most of the base was actually built, but I still got to chop down a few trees and craft the last Adobe wall to actually complete the base. And after I finished placing the walls, I placed all the ceilings and left the backside open for a future balcony. And I then went back to the trap house to bring all my loot to my new base. But on my way there, I stumbled across a red drop that was ringed up, and well, take a look. Oh my god! Not only
Is that Fastless Suches? 3 fast sushi saddles.
Only that, but there was also a nearly capped Rex saddle. Anyways, I made it back to my base, and I started taking all from my smithy, forges, boxes, and then transferred all my loot into the RG. And then I picked up the Doed and whistled Mothra to follow me. Meanwhile, the others watched as I left them behind, but not to worry, one day I would come back for them. And a couple of wing flaps later, I made it to my new base, parked the RG, and then returned to the shack on Mothra. You didn't really think I was leaving my tames, did you? Anyway, when I got to the thatch hut, I went inside to double check for any items I'd left behind, but I successfully got everything in the first trip. Well, actually, I almost forgot my mortar and pestle with some narco berries and stuff. So anyway, I didn't actually plan on returning here anymore. So on purpose, I closed all the windows and doors and got the kangaroo and whistled all my tames to follow me to the new promised land. And the trip back was pretty slow, and at times I had to rescue my fat Tops who kept getting stuck on some cactus. Anyways, me and the boys also dealt with some predators along the way. And after a couple more trials and tribulations, we made it to the new base. And I quickly put the dino gate to use by walking my kangaroo and RG inside the base. And the last phase of my relocations was placing the structures as well as moving the loot from the RG back to the smithy, mortar pestles, and storage boxes. And yes, boxes. I made a few because one box wouldn't cut it anymore. And in fact, I covered half the floor of these boxes. And at night, the base got kind of dark, so I looked into the smithy to craft some wall torches, but they were pretty expensive. But nevertheless, I guess I'll farm them out. Day 18 began farming stone outside my base, which I put into the mortar and pestle along with some chitin to craft cementing paste. And this paste was later taken into the smithy to make 4 of the most notorious, overly expensive wall torches of all time. Anyway, when they were crafted, I placed them evenly around the base, and then went outside to hit some more trees for wood, which would serve as the torches fuel. And once I placed the wood inside the torches, I turned them all on, and the lighting inside the base was now matte.
Solution for this, Gramsci. I just turned gamma up. Then when I make fabricator, put lights.
massively improved. And I got back to transferring my items from the RG into multiple storage boxes I crafted earlier. But some other items weren't so lucky. Like these pieces of primitive garbage got dropped off my backyard into the abyss, or like 5 feet below on this little cliff. Anyway, I then crafted campfires and placed them inside my base. That is made out of clay with no worries in the world of art because physics go down the same abyss as those primitive tools. Anywho, outside was a Paraceratherium, or to avoid an aneurysm, a racer. These fat slobs of meat and hide can drop some prime meat, and this one was no exception. And this raw meat was placed into the campfire to begin cooking while the prime meat was stored safely inside my RG. And I also did hop on my RG and get a few bird's eye views of the base. And when I came to the conclusion that my base still needed some fortification like spike walls around it, and that's when Rick the Doe's vacation came to an end. It was time to put him back to work on the 9-5 stone grind. The reason being is that I want to craft several wooden behemoth gates, which of course require stone for some reason despite them literally being wood gates. Anyway, I crafted the first one and then placed it ambiguously around the base. And at that moment, it was still a useless wall. But later on, it would be part of a larger chain of spike walls and gates protecting my base. We don't want any uninvited personnel just wandering in here. And by now, my campfires had cooked up a good amount of meat, which I relocated into the preserving bit I placed earlier. And I then flew over to the green obelisk pond to get a free water refill. And right after that, I placed my second wooden behemoth gate. And then back inside the base, I collected more resources within the boxes. Basically, I was doing all this to craft tons of wooden spike walls that would serve as 90% of the outside wall. And the next 10 minutes were spent crafting and placing these spikes until the base was close to being entirely covered. They non-kicked off with me on Sir Flap, spyglassing our first victim of the day, a level 30 racer. The amount of hide I got from it was so much appreciated by me because it allowed me to craft some more spike walls and return to finishing the walls that finally at last covered the entire base area from this cool world. And once again, I took another bird's eye view of my base, and I thought to myself how I'd expand this base in the future. Anyway, I then landed and repaired my metal tools, and I realized I was kind of ready to tame a Philo now. Kind of random, but you know, I'm gonna do it anyways. So anyway, the first step was to farm a trap.
What's out? 145 you saw a while ago.
And the second step was to craft enough trank arrows. And step 3 was to throw back to the prime that I farmed earlier but left in the RG. I finally put it to use by cooking it in the campfire because thylacoleos are cast class, and they like their steak medium well. After rotating the raw prime for cooked prime between the RG and the campfires, I had enough to tame thylacoleo. So now the search actually begins for a good one. And half a map later, the hemothicoleo was found at level 125. So I picked him up and tried to take him back to my base to safely tame him. But his bleed damage was low-key burning my health down, so I had to drop him. And I then flew back to my base, placed on the trap, and then flew back to the thyla. But while actually leaving it back to preserve my health, a sandstorm hit. And since I was scared to actually lose the thyla, I picked it up and rushed towards my base with losing tons of health to the bleed attack. But I had to drop him, otherwise he would have dropped Sir Flaps, which means I now have to wait for the sandstorm to end to actually tame the thyla. So the waiting began from the safety of my base until the last bits of sand flew over. The wind had calmed down and it was time to find the thylacoleo once again. Hopefully it did not kill my RG. But luckily for me, he hadn't moved an inch. So I picked him up and in the nick of time dropped him into the trap while my RG was also on its last drop of health. And I then described the moment perfectly.
It was way too close.
Anyway, before I could knock out the thyla, I brought something for it to feast on because its health was low. And when a carnivore does have dinner, it heals all the way back up for some reason. But the only issue was that the thyla was a vegan and instead befriended the moss shops as protest. But their alliance came to a dramatic plot twist when the thyla randomly decided to sink its teeth right into the moss shop's back. Day 20 and the thyla still wasn't counting sheep. But with just a few more trank arrows later, it finally did go to sleep. And while it tamed, I went inside the base and looked around for some narcotics, but I didn't have any, so I got on the morella tops and began farming some narco berries. And after crafting a couple of narcotics in the mortar and pestle, I then took them to the thyla and force feed it to keep them asleep. These guys do drain torpor pretty fast, so I'd have to do this a few times. And in the meantime, while the thyla was still taming, waiting to be converted to my team, I'd have to do this a few times.
Right there, damage number.
And in the meantime, while the thyla was still taming, waiting to be converted to my team, I just kept farming narco berries on Humber and then crafted them into narcotics for future usage. And still while waiting for my thyla to tame, I spotted a red drop literally way over there. And that's when memories of my last OP drop kicked in, and I was forced to fly there against my own will. Anyway, the drop was honestly mid and disappointing, but I took the pearls and saddles with me. And when I returned to my base, I did a whole bunch of nothing. Just ran around waiting for the thyla to tame, who was actually nearly done taming. But it took a little bit longer than expected, so I burned some time by picking up the trap and farming some hide for the saddle, and it finally tamed. And after naming the thylacoleo floppy, I ran inside the base to craft her a saddle, and wasted no time in getting on it, and started me running nearby down for meat, hide, and experience. But it's during this process that I found out for some reason the thyla's jump animation literally just goes straight up, which was mildly inconvenient. I guess it's glitched, but they still haven't fixed this. Anyway, regardless of this, the meat run continued until the heat wave took a toll on my health and forced me to return back to my base and chill out. And that's when I realized my base still has a huge gaping hole that could use some remodeling. So I farmed some trees to craft a gate that perfectly fit where I needed it to. Perfectly until I looked up.
That's kind of scuffed.
Anyone with the slightest case of OCD just got a heart attack. But me, I couldn't care less, so the grind went on. However, even inside my base, I
Justify between.
still had a fiery hot emoji at the bottom right of my screen, signaling that my body is.
Oh yeah, and also, guess what I just learned? My bad.
I don't know why these dudes.
Here.
And that's where his already hater began. But he would have and switch one level over to the.
Okay. So.
Bit of.
Here we go. So, 1,500 health, or 15,000. My bad. 15,000 health, and almost 1,000 melee, under level 200, and then he upgrades it to level 230, and it's at 1,800 melee. So, Nothosauruses are like crazy strong, and I happen to have them installed, so they're gonna be my cave runner. Sorry, Mr. Saber.
Is actually overheating, so I had to close all the windows, hoping the Adobe insulation was strengthened in this process. But I realized that perhaps a massive hole in the wall was causing the issue. Day 21, I decided to finish placing the missing walls on my base. So I then farmed plenty of sand with a dode, and then put the sand into a mortar and pestle with some more cactus sap to craft enough clay to actually make an Adobe gate that was apparently obstructed, which forced me to pick up the gate frame and replace it in a better area where it could actually fit the gate. But finally, the entire base wasn't closed. Okay, there's a little pocket of light up there, but it's not bad. Again, if you have OCD, I apologize to my core, but building this video was made for you to suffer occasionally. Anyway, out of the blue, I decided it was time to get an Nucleosaurus, because it would actually rapidly increase the amount of metal I could farm by about 10,000%. Don't check that math. But basically, a pickaxe was no longer cutting it. And it was actually a valid idea, so I quickly took action by first placing a trap, and I then flew out to actually find the Yankee. But actually, just a few minutes of flying around, I spyglassed the first Yankee who I saw, and it turns out to be level 115, so I couldn't ask for any more than this. This level satisfied me. So I wasted absolutely zero time in picking it up and returning it to my headquarters. I did have a child, but I don't care, this guy's coming with me. And when I did get back to my base, I dropped the Yankee and I missed the trap. But on my second attempt, I guess I missed it again, because Yankee started floating its way out of the trap like Neo in the Matrix. Are we seeing this? Anyway, the Yankee got the same treatment that all the other dinos that joined my cult received like a couple of trank arrows to sleep and then some food down its throat. And then I crafted a saddle while I waited for it to tame. But in the meantime, I decided it was a good idea to start crafting some refining forges, which meant tree and rock breaking. And then just like that, a few forges got placed in this preparation of this metal overload. Finally, on day 22, the Yankee tamed, but the poor gal didn't even get a name from me, for now at least. Instead, I put it straight to work on overtime by picking it up on my RG and forcing it to farm some metal for me. And this is why I waited for the exact moment, as I was naming it 4K Metal Farmer now. Let me know if you know which past video this name is from, down in the comments below. Anyway, now we're headed into real metal territory, with around 300 metal per rock, which is much better than the poverty metal I was getting with my primitive pickaxe. And everything related to this metal run was ordinary as usual, until I landed for stamina by a cliff, and a little Rex.
Oh, that was from Arc Extinction 100 Days on thing. Arc Extinction 100 Days. Evolved. I'm gonna find it. I know I'm right. He doesn't have like a regular 100 days. Dang, only 20 minutes. Okay.
I'm back on Extinction, and I only have 100 more days to kill all 3 variants of the King Titan and ascend to the Genesis Revolution. I'm starting on day 100 because I logged out basically instantly after I hit.
Okay, so where's the right? Oh, I'm slow.
I'm finally on Extinction after beating the island and an RTX to start smelting metal. Day 3 I had a smithy, but more important on screen now, until I finally found some things that are happening. As I mean farming even more knocked out while I was having lag spikes every time I turned my character more than 2 degrees. Anyways, after putting spikes around the ankle when I was
Look at the difference in his voice.
unconscious, the rest of the day was just kind of spent mindlessly popped out of the mesh. Naturally, I turned to
it's like the same
walking around, but what I was really doing was watching how to fix my lag spike problems on my other monitor. And speaking of things to do while Arc is to play World of Tanks. World of Tanks is an epic full cross guns. Then literally 3x and back go down to this amount of oil on electronics. Tech dinos are all over this map, so don't be surprised later on when I have mountains of the stuff. Anyways, a few minutes later, the Ankleo tamed, and I named it 4K Metal Farmer now.
I knew it. I knew it.
180 degrees and farm the metal while minding my own business. And when I farmed enough to feel satisfied, I returned back to my base and flew through the large cellar door I placed earlier to conveniently transfer all my metal from my Anki to the forges. And now is when I got to learning the chainsaw ingredient, an item that allowed me to farm wood, hide polymer, and chitin much faster. But because of its expensive pricing, I actually wasn't able to farm wood, hide polymer, and chitin much faster. But because of its expensive pricing,
Granty, what is that? I will change my quality to 1440p.
I actually wasn't able to craft it yet, so I had to stick to the good old hatchet for wood for now. And once I farmed enough wood, I went back to my base and filled up all my refining forges with the wood to serve as fuel to begin smelting all the raw metal I just found. And right after that, I started checking out the items I needed to craft for a fabricator. And it turns out all I was missing was some cementing paste and crystals. So I started handling the cementing paste first by going over to the dunes and killing some scorpions for chitin as well as some mantises. But things got interesting when 2 death rooms showed up uninvited. What? But that wasn't even the interesting bit. It was actually the treasure map I found in my RG's inventory after I killed the mantis. And I connected the dots to remember that shovels were in the trailer for Scorched Earth, and they can be used to dig up these treasure chests. So with this map, I can actually find the location of my first treasure chest. But I do leave the treasure chest hunt for later on though, because I gotta first focus on farming the chitin for the fabricator and the organic polymer for the chainsaw. Day 23, I continued searching for mantises to farm plenty of chitin and polymer. But while doing so, I found a glowing red crate in the middle of the dunes at night. But all it had was some cloth and chitin armor, which was extremely disappointing. Seriously, aren't these drops supposed to be really good? Anyway, my next problem was with the mantis, because they were actually super rare, so I had to fly around the dunes for a good minute, but I didn't have any luck actually finding them. And while flying back to the epicenter of Scorch in search of crystal, a dense cloud of sand interrupted me, covering my entire screen once again. And that is until I actually found my way out of it. I was actually near the sand cloud that the crystal was sitting around waiting for me to farm it. And just after this, I went back to the dunes and found a level 5 mantis, which provided me with just enough polymer to be happy with. But on my way back out of the dunes, I found some more of them and clapped them for the extra polymer. And anyway, finally when I was on my way back to my base, what better place to land for stamina than my old base? And then after that, I finally made my way back home after a long trip in the sandy dunes. And the first thing I started doing was crafting enough spark powder and cementing paste to craft the long-awaited overdue fabricator. And I then placed my fabricator on the ceiling because I couldn't find a better spot for it on the first floor. But not to worry, this isn't a permanent spot for it. So if you have OCD, don't tweak out just yet. Anyway, right up next was the chainsaw. So I collected some gasoline to turn the fabricator on, and then began crafting electronics. And I also went to the smith.
And watch this video, Granty, they would like explode by now.
And crafted a shovel, and I then pressed E on the treasure map to try and use it. Right up next was the chainsaw, so I collected some gasoline to turn the fabricator on, and then began crafting electronics, and I also went to the smithy and crafted enough spark powder and cementing paste to craft base. What better place to land for stamina than my old base? And then after that, I finally made my way back home after a long trip in the sandy dunes. And the first fabricator, and I then a permanent selected some did a shovel, and I then pressed E on the treasure map to try and use it. But instead a ping was created on my screen and it showed me exactly where I needed to go. So I assumed that there would be loot there. So I got on surf flaps and began flying towards it with my trusty shovel. And finding the loot was simpler than I imagined. When I got to the ping, I equipped the shovel and began to dig until the water spout and the treasure chest were revealed. But the loot, however, bruh, are we serious? That the water spout was cooler. Yeah, let's just say I wasted my time flying all the way over here, but at least I found out that I can actually dig with the shovel. And yeah, if you didn't know, you can actually kind of just stick a shovel into the ground, and in some areas you can get some water spout out that you can actually drink. The sad flight back to base is how day 24 began. But anyway, now that I have a fabricator, I learned the canteen engrams store more water on me at once. If you didn't know, Scorched Earth is kind of hot, and when it's hot, you need to drink more water. But because I made 3 of them, I ran a bitch war on polymer to craft a pump action shotgun. And you know, I really like these boomsticks, so I gotta have one. So anyway, I began farming stone on the dough to craft some cementing paste and some more spark powder later on. And I then flew over to the pond of still disgusting water laying around the green obelisk and filled my 3 canteens with it. And since this is art, this won't be a problem at all. You can literally drink ocean water. But anyways, when I decided it was time to go on a long trip in search of obsidian, I chose to go on my Crocodon instead of my RG, because despite it not having wings, it actually still travels a lot faster. But there's one downside of that, which is micro raptors. And while I was oblivious to their existence thus far, I landed after a big hop and felt the same as any other, until I got stunned off by not one, but two tiny microraptors. And after standing still for a couple of seconds, I realized I'm released from stun. And instead of just leaving, my vengeful mindset demands justice, so I put them to sleep while also collecting an explorer note in the process. And I tried finding obsidian by the nearest mountain, but I couldn't find any. But this kangaroo was so quick though that I just went all the way to the blue obelisk, where I didn't even find any more obsidian. So my last resort was to return back to the green obelisk. But on my way there, a sandstorm hit, which put me in a queue to go AFK in a tent for a little while. But after the sandstorm was over, my trip back to my base resumed. By first looting a purple drop that had shotgun and long neck ammo inside of it, which was worth it. But when I did finally get back to my base, I went on Sir Flaps and brought my Anki to the pillars in front, which actually has some obsidian on them. But just when I began my farming session, I heat wave hit. But after just a couple of swings, I had enough obsidian for now. So I returned back to my base and stored it in the fabricator, where I craft the last bit of polymer I need to make a pump shotgun. And now that I was trapped, I had to actually craft some more shotgun ammo. So I collected some charcoal from the forges and put them in the mortar and pestle. Day 25 started with a flint farm on the back of my Anklia, which will allow me to make spark powder to soon be turned into gunpowder for shotgun ammo for killing literally everything in my way. But I paused the intense flint farm to give Ash some fresh drip. I crafted a drifter hat for him, and
you cannot tell me we are not dripped out right now.
Anyway, the Anki got kidnapped once again and started farming rocks that were within my base. And after using the flintstone to make some more spark powder, I remembered I was out of silica pearls. So I got on Skipper and I headed towards the pearls that spawned by the river. And we didn't need that many, so the 200 pearls I got were more than enough. And I crafted some electronics to make a hollow scope for attachment for my pump shotgun. And I kept on crafting simple bullets to make tons of shotgun ammo soon. And the idea behind all this is because I want to run a cave soon. So eventually, with enough shotgun ammo to dev wipe the entire server, I headed out towards the church cave with my stupid Thylacoleo, who can only jump vertically right now. They still haven't fixed the glitch. So after some quick analytical thinking, I came to the conclusion that Skipper is actually more suitable for this task. And after only a couple of skips, I got to the church cave. And I jumped onto the roof and entered through the gaping hole in there. And that met me with a huge stairwell that leads down to colorful blue tunnels and a yellowish glowing section with bats that didn't even bother me for some reason. So I kept rushing deeper into the cave, avoiding and skipping past the cave creatures to the best of my ability. But my cockiness kinda got the best of me when I tried to kick some bugs into the death pit. And that kinda fantastically failed, so I canceled the idea and just kept moving forward, leaping across a broken land bridge and finally grabbing an artifact in freezing temperatures for some reason. But now I gotta do the whole process again to actually get out. Basically, it was just kinda rush forward and never think about looking back. And I'm actually really glad I didn't bring the Thyla and brought Skipper instead, who's basically handmade the Silas artifact. And on my way back to my base, I looted a yellow drop with gasoline and silica pearls. And right after that, a titan spawned on my left. But even more exciting was a red drop waiting for me ahead.
Oh, another Rex saddle and a flamethrower? Cluster grenades. All I'm saying is I'm kinda right near my starter house. Oh, easy. Oh, I missed. Oh! The house has seen better days.
And when I got back to my base, I crafted an artifact pedestal and placed my artifact of the destroyer on display. Day 26 started by organizing everything in my mortar pestles and my storage boxes. And then I started farming sand with my dough to craft a bunch of clay again for some more adobe structures. And the chainsaw was finally summoned in by me, and I mean crafted. Anyway, I harvested my first wood with it. A singular tree gave me over 1,000 wood, which is actually kind of crazy.
That is so unbelievably broken.
And all the wood was placed onto the refining forges to restart the smelting process. And I went back to chainsawing down some more trees. And this time the wood was used to craft 30 adobe quarter walls, as well as 2 adobe slope walls. And I landed on top of my base and turned the walls into railings to keep myself from falling down from here and to make the base more eye-pleasing. And I then layered some adobe foundations in front of my base to begin building the front porch. And I placed a pillar down and some ceilings to give it a more typical look. And then I even placed more railings because they fit in nicely. And after that, I placed some more pillars down to like make it look more structurally sound. Yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
Y'all have not seen a better base on scorched earth than this. I'm cooking so hard right now.
Anyway, I was inspiring myself with my unmatched building ability, so I decided to keep expanding onto the base. But halfway, I had to pause due to the lack of resources, and I started having to farm some wood again with a chainsaw. And I did farm enough to craft some more adobe foundations and expand the new floor even more. And after the foundations came the walls and then some windows to surround the entire area. And the new build was demanding a considerable amount of resources, so I went back to farming sand with my Dodic to make some more clay. And that's when night turned into a new day on day 27, where I was on Skipper now, skipping around towards a cactus sap bush for the 57th time just to farm enough cactus sap to finish building my new living room. Just kidding, it'll be filled with industrial structures. Anyway, when I got back to my base, all the sap got relocated into the mortar and pestle to craft a ton more clay once again. And this is a process I'm getting way too familiar with, but that's life I guess here on Scorched Earth. So I then farmed a load more sand on my dough, as well as some more wood with my chainsaw, but at least I don't have to do this all with a metal hatchet. And I placed a third row of walls down while I'm realizing I'm still cooking on space, and it's honestly looking mighty fine. So instead of stopping there and settling down for a triple high wall structure, I crafted some more structures and went for the extravagant 4-wall high base build because I simply can. And after going high enough on the walls, I wrapped up the build by placing the cellar door right in the middle and patched the remaining gaps for some adobe ceilings. And once again, the overused railing saved the day by making the base look more sexy. I mean, just take a look. Then my brain starts cooking, so I sort of built a catwalk that connects the new platform to serve as some sort of tower slash bridge. I don't know, it's kind of just there for aesthetics. So basically, all my clay went down the drain once again, because this extremely long building process kind of does that. So I picked up a bridge and replaced it with a completely different style in mind, which turned out to be some sort of hybrid between a bridge and a crossroad on the roof. So I don't know, I just built it, okay? Day 28 begins with me crafting ladders for the tower I made. This would serve as my only way of getting to the roof without using a flyer. Another new room layout was finished. I looked in the crafting wall torches to provide good lighting there, and I crafted it and placed so much improvisability in this pretty dark room. And all in all, I'm pretty proud of this build overall. It has 2 chambers and a tower that connects it to the roof, along with the cellar doors and gates to fit my bigger dinos in, and the railings, of course, which are the protagonists of this build, completely changing the look. Anyway, I got tired of collecting meat from my campfire, so I crafted an industrial grill with the resources I had laying around my base. And I went to the opposite corner for my fabricator and placed down the grill. And now with this industrialized cooking mechanism now in my place, it seems like the perfect time for supply and demand. So I hopped on my Thyla and clapped a racer for its precious hide and raw meat, as well as plenty of prime meat. And within my market lands was a metal node, so I picked up my Anki and had to break the node for some quick and easy metal. But this inspired a full metal run by the pillars. And during this metal run, a yellow drop of the ring landed. And what was even crazier is the fact that it knew I had my Anki with me, and it gave me not 1 but 2 ascended Ankylo saddles. Anyway, the metal run continued for a good while because I have some forges to fill back at my base. But when I did get back to my base, my Anki got dropped through the cellar door, and the metal within the Anki was evenly transferred between all the forges. And as you can see, the refining forges were all out of fuel. So I took my chainsaw and harvested 2 of the trees, and that was enough to fill all the forges. And the next thing I started looking into was an industrial forge, because it's a lot faster and I don't have to keep splitting the metal and wood into multiple inventories. And the same reason applied to the chemistry bench, which I also unlocked and planned for farming soon. But I somehow had forgotten the whip and gram until now. So I quickly learned that and gathered the basic resources I needed to craft one. And now being Skipper set out into foreign lands to once again go farm some silica pearls. I arrived at the silica pearl spot on day 29, and thanks to my new whip, I was able to collect the pearls from the cumber of Skipper's back. And during this process, I also caught a raptor's attention. And my instinct was flight at first, until I realized I have a pump on me now, so I clapped back. And the silica pearl farm continued, and it wasn't long until I farmed more than enough to craft 250 electronics for the chemistry bench. And a couple of skips later, I was back at my base with all the pearls. Along catching up with the stream viewers on my recent base upgrades, I realized that my build has some issues. This goes up here, and I can open this. Bang bang. Like, I don't know that I can close it. Oh shoot. Anyway, all the pearls were placed into the fabricator, and the electronic crafting session commenced. And I crafted as much paste as I could fit into my mortar and pestles to craft polymer in the fabricator. But I still needed some more cayenne and polymer, so I got back on Skipper, and together we went all the way to the other side of the map, repeatedly hopping until I got the best mantis spawns I could find. And I paused for some water by the red obelisk, which had a new cave, so I tried to dive into the water and started swimming towards it, but it's too dark in there, and I couldn't find my way into the cave with my low oxygen. So I was forced to go back outside, and I'll have to check it out another time. But while I was idle on
like, whenever you have a problem like that, just turn your game up. Where? Alright, my low attention span's coming into play now. Oh, I forgot to do something. I got to update my drivers or else Arc will explode. Who are you? What are you doing? Ah. don't care. Alright, this will probably be end of stream for now. Because this driver thing might shut down the PC. Alright, y'all are not going to be able to see this. There is, in fact, an update. Alright, if this ends the stream, goodbye. See you later. But if it doesn't, yay. Alright, let's go. Yeah.